Okay, definitely one of the more exciting projects here at the Namco Bandai Global Gamers Day is Project Crosszone, collaboration between 3 different companies. What 3 companies are there, as if we can't tell by the artwork behind us? But who are they?
Very iconic characters behind us. The 3 companies are Namco Bandai Games, which is us, Capcom, and Sega.
Now, 3DS title, but what's the play style? What's the gameplay? What's the genre? How does it work?
It's a strategy RPG, so your standard strategy RPG, grid-based movement, turn-based combat, but very different in terms of the actual combat, which is real-time. So more like a fighting game where you can do combos in real time and make sure you're juggling your characters in the air for critical attacks and performing different combos.
Now, I understand you explained to me before the interview here, you've got different pairings, and the idea is you collect pairings as you travel through the adventure?
Yes, you'll kind of meet different pairings along the way through your adventure. So all the units are paired up together. So, for example, Ryu and Ken are paired up together, obviously, and others like that. You'll see the same characters from the same franchise paired up, but then you can also bring in other characters from other franchises, other publishers, and kind of pair them up with those characters as solo and support characters in your battles.
Now, the battle system, from what we saw, so it's almost like a grid-based thing where you'll have a particular environment and you'll have a particular set of enemies. Can you sort of walk us through how that works? Because you can only move a certain number of spots, basically.
Yes, like your standard strategy RPG, you'll move X number of spots, complete your turn, the enemy has their turn, so on and so forth.
And in case of, you can also, whilst the enemy's taking their turn if they're attacking, you've also got the choice of basically either defending or trying to counter the moves?
Yes, so using your XP, you can either counter, defend, or do nothing based on what you choose to do. If you do nothing, you still build up your XP, so when your XP gets to 100 or over, then you can perform special attacks. So it's basically how you want to strategize and how you want to play it.
Now, with the sort of combat, when you initialize combat, and like you said, it's more like a standard fighting game where you got button move combos and stuff like that, but that's something you have to unlock over the course of the game.
Yeah, so every pair will start off with 3 different basic attacks, and then as you level up and progress, then you can unlock up to 5 attacks.
And there's the option of the support moves as well. If you've got another pairing that's close by, so you tap and trigger, and you'll initiate like a support move.
Yeah, you'll hit either shoulder button, and you'll actually call on your support group, and those will become cross hits. So that's another way to level up is to call in the units, get the cross hits, and it'll basically help you defeat the enemy faster and level up faster as well.
Now, is the whole basis of gameplay these battles between you and enemies? I saw there's a lot of, obviously, enough story exposition through text. Is that really, I guess, text, bit story, next fight, repeat? Is that how it works?
A little bit, yes. I mean, the basic story is there was an object called the Portal Stone, which was stolen, and they're trying to figure out what happened because all these rifts in time and space are opening up, and all these different characters from different universes are starting to cross over together. So the goal of the story is to kind of figure out what's going on, why, how is all this happening, and what's going on, causing all this chaos.
How many characters are we talking appearing in the game?
There's about 200 different characters in the game. But you play as about 50 characters, and that spans throughout the whole game. And represented in the game are about 30 different franchises from all 3 publishers, so a lot of different characters.
You got any particular favorites yourself?
I mean, I've always grown up with guys like Ryu and Ken from Street Fighter. Play a lot of Resident Evil, having being familiar with games like Valkyria Chronicles, games like that. Those are really some of my favorites.
One of the things I thought that came across really nicely was in those sort of text conversations, the humor of it. I mean, it's not exactly fourth wall breaking, but the characters are very much their archetypes that we've seen from the series. Is that always been the idea that the game will have, even though it's a sort of semi-serious story, there's a good degree of humor when these characters are interacting?
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely taking characters from all these different franchises, so we want to make sure they're accurate to how they're portrayed in their own games. So bringing over, if they're humorous in their games, we definitely want to have that in this game as well.
Now, in sort of wrapping up, obviously fans want to get their hands on as soon as possible with this, and that's the case of how you guys have approached it with text translation but Japanese voiceover.
Yes, the game will be Japanese voiceover only, no English voices, but there is going to be English text in the game.
And finally, just sort of, can you give us the release date in the UK and Europe?
Release date in the UK and Europe will be early July, and in the US it'll be in June 25th. So, really close, within about a week of each other.
Thank you very much indeed for taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you.